Hello. Today we're going to be talking about 5 tips to get more sales. So yesterday we talked about 5 reasons you're not getting sales, and today we're going to talk about how to change that. Okay. Looks like it's working. Let me know. Hi. Okay, it's working, yeah. Today we're going to talk about 5 tips to get more sales. If you have questions, you can start putting them in now. Hi. If not, hi June, hi Will. If you think of questions along the way, put them in now. I might not answer them till the end, but you can just put them in there so you don't forget. Okay. So, good. Okay. So I'm just going to get started, I think. We got, 25 people here. So first tip. Actually, let me know what everyone's selling. If you're already selling, let me know what you're selling. If not, put not selling yet, want to sell, whatever you want to sell, cupcakes, macarons. Okay, I'm going to get started. So first tip is right away, look at your Instagram profile, look at your, however you're selling, and make sure, hey mom, and make sure you have it in your bio what you're selling. Like, you might think it's clear because you're posting about it, but put it in your bio that you are selling this thing. Like, having just pictures of it's not enough, because some people just post their pictures and they think, oh, cool, this person is just taking pictures and maybe posting recipes or whatever. But put in your bio what you sell, where. If you're just joining, put where you live and what you're selling. But put that in your bio. And then, as this goes into the second tip, so second tip is basically showing them how to order. So if you don't already, and if Instagram, I'm assuming a lot of people here, Instagram is how you get sales. For me, it was a combination. So I posted a lot on Instagram and Facebook, posted the same thing. I got a lot of interactions from Instagram, but a lot of sales from Facebook, but also a lot of sales from the website. So it could have been, like, if you have a lot of sales from your website, don't think maybe you're not getting a lot of sales from Instagram just because you're not making the sale on Instagram, but people could be clicking on your website link through Instagram and going there. There are ways to track that. If you want to get into that, you can figure out where they're clicking the link, which could be really helpful. So, but I just did both. Like, it wasn't going to stop me from posting on Instagram or Facebook. So make it very clear on how they can order. So if you've got all of your pictures, they look great, no one's buying, could be they just don't know how. So have where you're selling, what you're selling, and then how to order. And if you can put that on the top, like in your story highlights, put that. Yeah, you can put your questions and I will answer them once I get through these. But you can start putting them up here. Story highlights is the best place to put that on Instagram. If you're doing something like, I wouldn't recommend only doing Facebook. I would recommend Instagram as well. But Instagram, have those story highlights, say how to order or start here, or something like that. And then be very clear, tell them you could have something like, this is where you can buy us. If you have wholesale, this is how you can order. If you have a website, if you have events, you could do that. Put that in there, even if you already have an event tab. Like, even if you have how to order, events, menu, still put in there. Like, make it as simple as possible. How to order, and then include the events in there. But then also, I would have an event tab or a menu tab or something like that. Okay, now, this is debatable. Some people say you don't have to post every day, but it just gives the best results because not everyone is seeing every post you make. Hi, Barbara. But how many times have I said, hi, Barbara? I was thinking about that, like when I do these lives every week and then I see you in the group calls. Okay. Post every day. Even if you're not posting, like I was talking about this yesterday, even if you're not posting on your feed, post on your story. Just something to just keep your logo, keep your little thing popping up in front of your customers, in front of potential customers. After a while, they're going to buy. If you just keep putting really good pictures in front of people of your really good baked goods, they're going to eventually order. Now, getting more, like, I don't want to get too in detail about this. This is something I go into more detail about in the program. But if you're doing posts every day, a lot of those posts are just being shown to your followers and not even that. Like, a lot of them don't even go to all of your followers. So I hate to say it, but try to post reels. Try to, I don't even know if hashtags work anymore. I still use them. I like them for like hitting like local stuff. Like if you're hashtagging Troy, Ohio, or wherever you are, that can be helpful. But I would do reels, even if it's just like those reels that are just a couple of your photos to music, just anything, because it will show it to more customers. My family gets furious with me for taking random photos to use when I don't have macarons to post. Yeah, just posting on your story. Some people like behind the scenes. If you have the like nice kitchen for it, post behind the scenes. If you don't, I wouldn't. But post polls. People love polls. Anything like that gets them interacting with you. It'll help show more people your stuff. So even if it's just, what kind of flavors do you want for October? Do you prefer chocolate or strawberry? Just silly things like that. Just anything to get people like interacting with your posts. Okay, now this one is kind of obvious, but still people don't do it. So my favorite way to teach people to get more sales is doing events, doing pop-ups, doing markets, any way that you can get yourself out in front of your customer or your potential customer, or you can get them to try it. For me, macarons were a hard sell because no one knew what they were, and if they did, they thought they were macaroons. Like, so many times I heard people say, I don't like macaroons. Or they would see it and they would say, oh, I don't like coconut. No, thank you. And I'm like, no coconut here. You don't have to worry about that. But like, for me, it was really good because I needed people to try and see that they weren't macaroons, you know? But for other people, if you have just cupcakes, there are a lot of just kind of boring cupcakes out there. So if you can show them, if you can give them samples, just getting people to try samples. I knew with my product, if someone tried a sample, they were going to become a customer. Because I really, really worked on the flavors, and I was really confident with the flavors and stuff like that. So I knew all I needed was to get people to try them. Your product should be that good. If someone tries it, they're most likely to become a customer because it's that good. So if not, they'll tell someone else about it. They'll give it to as a gift for a friend or something like that. But the best way to do that is through events, pop-ups, markets, and doing samples. Some people don't do samples. Barbara, we've talked about this a lot. Barbara doesn't need to do samples. She's made such a name for herself. She doesn't do samples. I like to do samples, and especially if you're just starting, I would just bring a lot of samples, bring a lot of business cards, because even if you don't get a sale right away, you can still possibly get a sale in the future. Or someone gets your card, tasted it, tells a friend. Like, they want to give the gift of like a really good product, a really good shop. Like, think about when you find a really good restaurant, you're telling everyone. Like, so even if they didn't buy them that day, it's possible that they were going to give that business card to a friend or buy later. Okay. Fifth thing is collabs. So this is also another reason why the events and pop-ups and markets are so good, because you meet so many other people that you can do collabs, and it's all local. Like, I notice a lot of people have a problem with, they have a good amount of followers on Instagram, but they're not making any sales because a lot of those people aren't like local customers. like I've said this before, but as home bakers and people that are selling to like locally that aren't shipping, we can't follow the regular like how to grow your Instagram content online right now, because that's growing your Instagram everywhere. They're just helping you grow your Instagram, but you need to grow your Instagram, grow your social media locally where people are actually going to buy. Because yeah, there are going to be people that are like, I want you to ship, but most of the home bakeries can't. So, and it's expensive and difficult to ship. So that you don't really want to build your business on shipping as a home baker, even if you can. So doing collabs is going to be incredibly helpful for getting those local followers, growing your audience locally, and then when you have like a collaboration, when you make friends with these other vendors and other places do pop-ups, a lot of the times they turn into shops, they turn into bakeries. You can do pop-ups there. It's just really good to kind of network with these people. Okay, I pretty much said what I needed to say, so I'm going to go through these questions. If you have a question, you can put it in the chat, and I will try to answer it. Let's see. So I'm seeing a lot of people selling macarons, decorated sugar cookies. I love seeing all these macarons. Texas sugar cookies? What's that? Macarons. How to make an easy website. Have you used Wix? So if you haven't watched the live from yesterday, I talked more about this. In the Home Bakery Blueprint program, I teach Shopify. I also give you some other options, but from my experience, I've tried a lot of different websites, and I've had a lot of bakers that I've taught try a lot of different websites. Some of them like Wix, some like Squarespace. If you're going to be selling on your website and people are going to be putting their credit card information on your website, you need to make sure that you have the right systems in place so it's secure. So cheaper is not always better for that. You most likely, unless you're some sort of web designer, you're most likely not going to want to do like WordPress, where you are going to be putting the security systems in place. You have to do all that. It ends up being expensive and a little scary. So I do have some students that use Wix and they like it. It depends what your goal is. Is your goal to just showcase what you're selling with pictures and stuff? In that case, you're not going to need the full Shopify. You're not going to need people purchasing on your website. Or is your goal to have them fill out an order form and purchase in person or send you money like through PayPal? Or are you going to have customers that can place the order without needing to speak to you? Like they can go on, like they're just shopping online. If that's the case, Shopify usually ends up being the best. This isn't sponsored. Shopify usually ends up being the best because you get more, like order options. Like I think I used Squarespace. I used WordPress at first, then I used Squarespace, then I went to Shopify. Squarespace was nice. It was pretty and easy to use. But once I wanted more than a couple products, it started getting expensive. But Shopify, you can have more products without the price going up, and it's for shops. It's made for that. So they have a lot of really cool things in place. But it's what I teach also because it is really easy to navigate, so you don't have to pay a web designer. If you pay a web designer, if you have the money to pay a web designer, do it. I would absolutely love that for you. But if you don't, you're going to pay a web designer, and then you're going to need to pay them every month to update it. Unless they show you how to update the website and put new information in, like put photos in it and stuff like that, you're going to have to keep paying this web designer. You're going to have to keep up with it. You're going to have to make sure that the security system's in place and that they're constantly checking that for updates, all of this stuff like that. If you have the funds to do that, you can make a great WordPress site. But if you don't, something like Squarespace, something like Shopify is going to be the best way to go. And it's easiest. You can update it every month. You can do it. Thank you for the hearts. Is that Gabby? Are you giving me hearts? Okay. I love the dresser you just made, Gabby. It's so pretty. Okay. I thought there was another question here. If you have any questions about anything I've talked about or home bakeries, put that here. Let's see. Pop-ups. What is the best way to have a pop-up? So I think I made a YouTube video about this if you want more details, but basically you're going to want to do a lot of the work ahead of time. I know that I say give out samples, that kind of stuff, but for an event like that just has regular customers coming in, you're going to want to really make sure that you have people coming in for you, especially if you want to be asked back. So if you can get your customers really hyped about a flavor or a special box you're selling or some sort of giveaway you're doing, and you can get people, if you can get a line for a pop-up, they're going to absolutely ask you back. So you have to think about it like this, the store that is having you, they want customers too. So if they see, oh my gosh, this cookie maker brings in so many customers that have never been in our shop and now they're our customers, you will get so many asks for pop-ups. So basically prep everything ahead of time, really hype it up, start marketing it. I would do some soft marketing a month ahead, and then when the week comes, I would really go hard. And I would make sure that you are talking to your email list, because if you're doing it on Instagram, you can't trust that they're going to see it before the event. So that's why I would post so much, post on stories, post on the feed, and also send it out to the email list. Okay. Would you advise call cards to distribute, say, in a pop-up? Are you talking business cards or stuff with more information? I noticed a lot of my local customers bought a lot during events, but since I only offer items in sizes of a dozen, it's hard to convert these customers. Any advice? So I would offer them less than a dozen. Is there a reason you do only a dozen? I noticed a lot of my customers bought a lot during events. And what do you mean by convert these customers? Yeah, give me some more information about that, because I think I might be able to help. Just signed up for my first large convention. Over 25,000 people go. I never do samples, but I'm contemplating doing samples for this one. Only 32 food vendors out of 280 total vendors. What do you think? Okay, so I definitely think samples. If you're doing, but what way could you do samples? You do cakes? I mean, what way are you selling? Are you selling slices or? That's amazing. 32. What other kind of food vendors are there? I kind of want it for myself. It's illustrative your Harry Potter macarons. I love that. If you're still on here, this is totally unrelated to baking. I'm sorry, everyone. But have you read A Court of Thorns and Roses? And when she talks about painting the dresser the night court, that is exactly what I imagined it to look like. Okay, do home bakers need a serve safe? So it depends on where you are. If your state requires it, yes, but you usually need the lowest one. I think there's manager one and then just employee. I don't know if that's what it's called, but usually you only need the lowest one. But in the home bakery program, I always recommend it just because it is so good to have, and you would be surprised at the stuff you don't know. It's just, you have more confidence when you're baking. You know exactly how long things can be out. You know how to handle things. Home bakers, you are making food people can eat. People can get really sick from this. You need to have all of this stuff in place, and you need to remember that. It seems very casual, and I don't want to scare anyone. It seems very casual because you are home baking, but people are consuming this. There are allergens. There are, a lot of people are putting dairy and stuff like that. You really have to make sure you're doing this right, because you are selling a product that people are eating that can hurt them if it's wrong. So you need to make sure you have your insurance. You need to make sure you have your LLC. You need to make sure that if you don't have your serve safe, you at least know what you're doing when it comes to preparing food. It is nice to have the serve safe though, because it's just like you can finish it in like one day and it's not too expensive. And having it in your bio, having it on your website is just such a good thing to see and for customers, because they can't come into your shop. If you don't have a shop, they can't come into your home and see what you're doing. So you need to kind of show them through your photos and that stuff that you're a good baker, you know what you're doing. What kind of business would you approach to host a pop-up? So that is going to totally, hi Karis, that's going to totally depend on your business and the kind of business you have and your brand. So for example, if you're doing weddings and you really want to focus on the wedding industry, let's say you do macarons and you want to focus on the wedding industry, you want to really make sure that your customers are going to be ordering for your weddings. So I would do pop-ups at like bridal events. I would do pop-ups at bridal stores. I would do pop-ups at a hair salon. Like anywhere where your brides are going to be, if there's some sort of like, of course, but if there's some sort of event, a vendor event, that's not necessarily a pop-up, but a wedding vendor event, do it there. Anywhere where your customer is going to be. But if you are going to open a bakery eventually and you just want anyone, I would just try a bunch of different places. Like yesterday I was talking about how some people do pop-ups in breweries, vineyards, anywhere that it would complement your product or where you think your customers are going to be hanging out. Do they have a certain app to use to build an email list? So I teach MailChimp in the program. That's my favorite. What's the other one? There's a couple other. Really, you just got to find one that works for you. But I like MailChimp because it has templates. I'm sure they all have templates, but I just have my templates in MailChimp. And you can buy templates on Creative Market and then use those templates and make them your own and put your own photos in there and stuff. So I use MailChimp. I've been using MailChimp since 2014 when I first started. And it has some really cool like testing features where you can send out, like you can do like A/B testing where you send a certain kind of email to this group and a certain kind of email to this group and see which one performs better, so you can kind of update how you speak to your customers based on what performs better, if you really want to get into that kind of stuff. But there's also ways to like tag certain people, so for my Facebook group, I have it so you can enter your email if you want to get subscribed to my newsletter. And then I have on my website a quiz you take on if you're ready to open a home bakery. MailChimp, there's a way for it to tag certain people. So the people that join from the Facebook group, they have a tag Facebook group. And then the people that join from the quiz, who I know are more interested in home bakery stuff, they get a tag that they were joined in from the quiz. So then I can send certain things to the people that joined from the quiz because I know they're more interested in home bakery stuff, and then I can send other emails to the people that joined through the macaron group because I know that they're more interested in macarons. So if you have customers that are from different areas, you can tag them in certain areas. So you can, I'm going to use my area for example. When I was selling, I'd had a tag from Troy, Ohio people, and a tag from Salina people, and a tag from Columbus people, because it's all pretty far away, and I knew that if I was doing an event in Columbus, Salina people did not care. So it would only send that information out to the Columbus people. That is getting pretty, that's kind of difficult to do, but it is really helpful once you have thousands of people on your email list and you really want to target certain people when you send an email. Wine shops are great for pop-ups, Barbara said. That is good. Yes, wine shops. a lot of people like the breweries too, because like well, it depends. Some breweries only have beer and then they'll have like food trucks out back. Having a pop-up there during one of those events would be perfect. Oh yeah, you do the cheesecakes. Okay, brownies, cheesecakes, cheesecake bars. I was thinking baking them in all bar forms so they can easily be cut up into small pieces. That's perfect. Wait, you sell other food as well? A lot like lunch food, meat, sandwiches, snacks right now, and one other baker. I'm sorry, I got confused. You're talking about the event you're doing. The other food is going to be lunch food, meat, sandwiches, snacks. Only one other baker, and it's cookies? Okay, so you said this is 25,000 people? Holy crap. So I would do samples. I would bring a ton because cheesecake stuff, that is always, every cheesecake baker I've ever worked with, their problem is not getting sales. It's how to keep up with the sales. Like cheesecake, especially like you're doing like cheesecake bars where someone doesn't have to buy a full cheesecake. Yeah, I would. Brownie cheesecake bars, that sounds good. Handheld cheesecakes. All right. Oh, here we go. I offer, so if you're just joining, I already went through the 5 tips. You can rewatch it. I'll post it on my feed. But right now I'm just answering any questions you have about home bakery businesses. I offer cookies and cupcakes in sizes of a dozen for cost reasons. At events, they buy multiple items, single purchases. When I'm not at events, it's hard to get those same, customers to order. So you only sell them from your home for a dozen, but at events they can buy singles. So you're saying it's hard to get them to actually place an order that's not at an event. Well, some customers are just event customers. Like a lot of my customers didn't place big orders. They just came to the events and bought the single purchases. So that just made me see that I just needed to keep doing events. Yeah, so far, so I'm a little nervous for it. It's all women, which is my demographic. What kind of cheesecakes do you do? Like, what are some of the flavors? I'm just curious. I love cheesecake. All right. But that's kind of what I did. So I offered monthly flavors. Like I said, if you want a custom flavor, you have to get a minimum of 20. And then I didn't do a dozen. I did a minimum of 20. And then I said, if you want singles, it has to be the monthly flavors. So for a while I had 2 to 4 monthly flavors, and you could buy singles of them. I probably didn't let people buy more than 4 because I just didn't want to like even bother from home. But at events I let them buy singles. But from home, if they were going to place an order, I probably had a minimum of like 4. And then you could pick as many as you want of the monthly flavors. But if you wanted a custom flavor that wasn't a monthly flavor, you had to get 20. Okay, I'm not seeing any more questions, so I might wrap this up. I am going to today's Wednesday, I'm probably going to do another one of these lives on Monday. If you have a topic you want to see the live on, you can put it in the comments and tell me. So for Monday, what you want Monday's live to be. But yes, if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments. I might not get to them, but you can ask them on Monday as well. And the Home Bakery Blueprint program is open right now. You can apply through the link in my bio, or you can send me a message if you have more questions you want to ask that aren't answered in the link, and then we can get started on the application process. It's 12 months. You have access to group coaching calls, 1 a week, where we go on Zoom. You can keep your camera on, off. We have a couple of each. Some people keep their camera on. And then there's curriculum that you follow. So you get the coaching calls to help you with the curriculum. So you go through the videos, the templates, like someone was saying, how to approach a pop-up. That stuff's all included. Like the emails are all written out for you. You just have to plug in your product, your business name, stuff like that. And then we even go over photography. I teach you how to build your Shopify website. how to take better photos, all of that stuff. So if that's something you're interested in, you can send me a message or you can just go to the link in my bio. Good, I'm glad this was helpful. Our bestseller is Turtle Pink Lemonade. This costs triple fudge, s'mores, and chocolate peanut butter. Yummy too. I bet they're all really, really good. That sounds so good. Pink lemonade. That's a good idea because the color, and then I bet lemon blueberry was such a popular flavor for us. I never made a pink lemonade. That's a good idea. Okay, I'm gonna go. If you think of anything that you want discussed on Monday's live, put it in the comments, and I'll try to answer those questions. Yeah, no problem. Okay, bye.